Hi, I'm Noah with Preferred Physical Therapy, and today we're doing a 10-minute exercise, just doing a circuit of 2 different rounds, and we're going to get moving here. First, we're going to start off with some stretching. We're going to go overhead with a tricep stretch, making sure that we're going right behind our back, making sure our head's not dropping down, keeping it nice and up, reaching towards the middle of our back here if we can, and pulling in on this elbow, making sure you're breathing through it, just stretching it out. Take a few deep breaths here. Good. Now we're going to swing the arms. We're going to go over with the other arm, overhead, making sure that we're still reaching to the middle of our back, keeping the head up as much as we can, feeling the stretch in our tricep muscle, just making it longer when you bend your arm here. Take a few deep breaths. Good. Now we're going to swing down. We're going to do that one more time. Just get nice and warmed up. Just getting a quick stretch in. All right, go one more time on the other side. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to clasp our hands right behind our back. We're going to lock out at the elbows. Make sure we're pushing our chest forward, keeping the shoulders down, just stretching out the chest, opening up here. Getting some breath in. Oftentimes we'll sit at our computers or on our phones a lot, and we'll keep the shoulders rounded. This is a nice chance to open them up. One more deep breath. Good. Now we're going to work on the front part of our arm. We're going to take our hand, bend our wrist right here, palm facing forward. We're going to drop the arm with the elbow straightened out, stretching our forearm and our bicep muscle. Just getting some deep breaths here. The closer you can have it in here, the more it's going to stretch, making sure your shoulder's not coming up. Staying nice and down. Good. Now we're going to do the other arm. Same thing, grabbing the hand, standing at the elbow, bringing the arm down, stretching your bicep and your arm. This is another thing where our arms are always bent as we're on our phones or on our computers typing. One more deep breath here. And good. Now our last stretch of today, we're going to stretch out our hamstrings. So we're going to try to keep our knees locked out, just bending at the hip, down so you feel a pull in the hamstrings, making sure we're not rounding our back. The idea is to try to touch the toes, but not touch them unless you're absolutely able to, with keeping a straight back here. Just making sure you're keeping the knees locked out. If you need to, you can press on your knees. Make sure they're staying nice and stable. You can hold the back of your legs, feel the muscles that you're stretching. Get some deep breaths in here. Good. Now we're going to jump into our workout. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 rounds. We're going to do a few exercises, and we're going to take a break right in between them. So we're going to start off with some lunges. We're going to go for 30 seconds here, making sure that we're lunging down, putting the pressure on our front leg, a little bit of pressure on our back to balance. You can move your arms like this. This helps me keep balance. Making sure that you're standing nice and tall. Just hinging at the hips a little bit as you go down. Think of it as an exaggerated step. Toes are facing forward the whole time, keeping the chest up. Good. Last one. Awesome. Now we're going to go shoulder width apart, pointing the toes slightly out, making sure our knees are following them, forcing them out. We're going to squat down and come back up. We're going to do a few squats in place here. Going down as low as you can, whatever is comfortable for you. If you need to take a partial squat and go up, that's perfectly fine. You want to go all the way down, as long as you're keeping an upright posture and keeping your knees going out. That's perfectly fine. Making sure you're not overarching on your lower back, keeping it nice and straight here. All right, we'll do one more. Good. Now we're gonna get into that partial squat position, going shoulder width apart. Just gonna do some side steps here. Notice I'm not bringing my feet all the way in, just to a little bit closer. I'm widening my legs as I step out, just moving at the hip, making sure I'm not bending my knees. You can think of it as a little bit as a crab walk here, walking around just nice and stiff at the hips, making sure the knees aren't leading the movement. You can even go in a circle if you want. You can mess around with it. All right, next, we're doing the classic push-up here. So we're going to go shoulder width apart, feet together, making sure the hips aren't too high or too low. We're gonna go down, keeping the back straight, doing some push-ups here, going at your own pace, just trying to challenge yourself. If you can't do a normal push-up, you can go on your knees, and you can do the push-up there. Takes a little bit of weight off of the body as you go. If you can't do it on your knees, you can always find a table, and you could do it while leaning or like a countertop. Do one more. Good. So we're gonna come up here. We're just gonna take our arms off to the side, make a T position. We're gonna do some arm circles, really emphasizing what we just hit with the push-up. Your shoulders are heavily involved in them. So just making sure that you're doing some arm circles, getting some blood flowing, feeling a little bit of a burn. You can go backward or forward. Just imagine drawing a circle with your fingertip here on each side. Breathing through, this is a chance to catch your breath. All right, so we got 2 more exercises here. This one's gonna be a little bit of a hard one. So you're gonna jump up, and then you're gonna get down, push up, jump up, get down, push up. Completely go at your own rate here. You can do the knee push-ups too, so you can get down like this. Make sure you do the push-up, then get up and jump. You can go at your own pace. You can slow it down a little bit, take a breather, then jump down. That's perfectly fine. Just making sure you're jumping, using your whole body here. We'll do one more. All right. So now we're gonna get down on the ground, training our push-up here. Whether you use a counter or you're on your knees or in the actual push-up position, we're gonna go all the way down. And we're gonna slightly lift off, and we're gonna try to hold for 30 seconds. This one's gonna be really challenging. Just trying to help you at that bottom position of the push. Notice my chest is slightly off the ground. Still keeping good form. Just breathing through it. If you're on your knees, it'll look something like this. Just making sure that you're in the right position, keeping the elbows somewhat in and not flaring out, but not completely at your side. If you're at a table, it can also look like this too. Just sitting down in this position. Good, we're gonna grab some water, catch our breath real quick. We're gonna be back in 30 seconds, making sure we're staying hydrated to fuel ourselves for the next round. Got one more, you got this. It's okay if you're out of breath, I am too. Just feel free to make sure that you're all set and ready before you start this next one. Good. I highly encourage you to stay standing if you can. Make sure your body's still warm, still ready to move around. Just a few more seconds. So we're gonna hop into it. We're gonna do those lunges again, making sure we're starting off shoulder width, going into it, own pace. Just making sure you're going down, down, down as far as you can, pushing up, returning to the center. I like to pretend like I'm running, almost in slow motion with some silly steps here. Trying to keep your balance. If you feel like you can't keep your balance during these, that's perfectly fine. You could hold onto a table right next to you. Just making sure you're not gonna topple over. All right, good. Going shoulder width apart, we're gonna go into our squats, forcing the knees out, coming up. I like to put my arms in front of me just like this. Helps you create a little bit of a balance for yourself as you drop back. Just going at your own pace. You can go really fast if you want, or you could go really slow, just making sure you're taking the time in between and making sure that you have good form Do a few more. Last one. Good. Now we're gonna go into our partial squat position, slightly bending the knees over the toe, making sure we're just moving at the hip here. Again, you can walk around the house like this, do whatever you want. Go get a snack, go get a drink. Real quick, we got 30 seconds of this, making sure that you're moving just at the hip, taking small steps. Should feel a little bit of a burn in here. Good, you go back and forth just like this, pretend like you're a crab. All right, now we're getting back into the push-up, making sure we're dropping down into the push-up position, getting the feet together, hands shoulder width apart. Go up and down, going at a nice pace. You don't need to pause at the bottom or hold it at the top. You can do whatever you want. It's completely up to you. Again, if you need to do the knee push-ups, this is perfectly fine right here. Just making sure you're doing whatever challenges you and gets you moving. All right, so we're gonna get up, do those arm circles, making sure we're keeping the blood flowing to the arms, keeping your body in a T position here. Really small circles. It's gonna be activating your shoulder muscles, getting the blood flowing. You go forward or backward, whichever you feel like. Make sure you catch your breath as you're going, breathing consistently. Almost done. All right, here comes the really hard one. Do your best with this one. You're gonna jump up, get down, push-up position, jump up, jump up. What this could look like if you can't do the normal push-up, you could come here on table, jump up, table, jump up. As long as you're getting down, if you go on your knee, then jump up, that's perfectly fine. Or you can do the normal one right here. One more. Good. Now we're gonna get into that position one more time. Just trying to train the bottom position of our push-up a little bit. Trying to challenge ourselves. Act like you're pushing up and then just stop right there. This one's gonna be good for training posture. Keeping everything tight. It's a good finisher on the workout. Going right here, if you need to. Go on the knees. Go slightly down if you can. Just trying to train a little bit of a static motion here. It's a little bit different, but it's always worth the challenge. And awesome. So you've all finished your workouts. Make sure you grab some water, catch your breath.